You're listening to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcast on new rules for novel foods. To keep up with scientific advances in the food sector and to make it easier for new products to reach our supermarket shelves, the European Commission proposed in 2013 new rules to speed up the authorisation of novel foods. Next week, the compromise reached between Parliament, Council and Commission will be submitted to plenary vote. Stay with us and we'll tell you more about it.
Pan-fried crickets for breakfast, algae soup for lunch. It may sound like a strange menu to you now, but one day in the future, insects and other exotic products may be part of our European diets.
Supermarket shelves offer an increasingly large choice of new exotic products and ingredients which are conquering our kitchens.
But to make sure these new products are not going to upset our stomachs and endanger our health, novel foods need to be assessed for their safety and authorised before they can be placed on the EU market. So what kind of products are we talking about?
Basically, novel food refers to every food and food ingredient which was not consumed in the EU before the existing novel food regulation came into force in 1997. But a lot has changed in the food sector in these last 19 years.
Indeed it has, and examples of new products which have been introduced since then include products traditionally eaten in non-EU countries such as noni juice, which is made from a Tahitian plant, oils and dairy products enriched with phytosterols and phytostanols to help reduce cholesterol, or fruit juices produced using a new high-pressure technique.
So where's the problem?
Well, the problem is that under the current regulation, getting the green light for a novel food can be extremely long and costly.
This is why, after failed attempts to change the regulation in 2008 due to disagreements on how to deal with food derived from cloned animals, the European Commission made a new attempt in 2013. So what's different this time?
I think the main changes can be summarised in 4 key points. The removal of the former novel food categories, a centralised authorisation process led by the European Commission, a shift from applicant-based to generic authorisations, and a simplified procedure for traditional foods with a history of safe use in non-EU countries.
So what's the Parliament's stance on these new rules?
Well, during the trilogue negotiations, the Parliament's Envy Committee insisted that food derived from cloned animals be provisionally retained in the scope of the Novel Foods Regulation until specific rules on cloning come into force.
At the same time, new food categories were introduced such as food produced from cell or tissue culture, the so-called lab meat, and food produced with engineered nanomaterials will also be considered novel food. So what are the next steps?
Well, so far, the Committee of Member States' Permanent Representatives and the Parliament's Envy Committee have both approved the compromise text, but the big test will be next week's plenary when MEPs will cast their final vote on the new novel food rules.
And we'll be looking forward to that. You're listening to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcast.